Hey there, sports history fans. Arnie Chapman here from the Sports History Network to share with you an awesome announcement. Now dig on this. 4 of our amazing podcasts have clinched spots in the final round of the Sports Podcast Awards, and we need your support to take home the trophy. First up, we've got Basketball History 101 driving the lane in the Best Basketball category. Then on deck, we've got Orville Mulligan Sports Writer. He's cracking up the competition in the Best Sports Comedy category. Marty's Illegal Stick is dominating the ice next in the Best Hockey category. And last but not least, we have Wrestling with Heels on powerbombing its way to victory in the Best Wrestling category. Now, again, we're counting on you to cast your vote and help out these incredible podcasters secure their well-deserved recognition. It's super easy. All you gotta do is head over to the dedicated landing page. That's at sportshistorynetwork.com/vote. Again, that's sportshistorynetwork.com/vote. Now, let's take another look at sports yesteryear with this episode brought to you by, of course, the Sports History Network.
You're just in time for a gridiron treat. FootballArchaeology.com's Timothy P. Brown joins us to talk about a tidbit where he titled it Eddie Dooley's 1936 All-America Team Contest. Tim's got the scoop coming up in just a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with pigskindispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of pigskindispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history, and welcome to another Tuesday where we get to talk to Timothy P. Brown of FootballArchaeology.com about one of his famous tidbits, some daily little factoids of football that really make you think and appreciate the days gone by in the realm of the gridiron. So, Tim, welcome back to the Pig Pen.
Thank you, Darren. Yeah, I look forward to chatting again today and seeing what we come up with.
Yeah, Tim, I want to go to one of the really, I find very entertaining and fun, and it takes you back to a different era of some marketing and using football in their marketing. And you titled this tidbit back in September of 2022. If you can believe it's been that long since you wrote this. It's called Eddie Dooley's 1936 All-America Team Contest. So why don't you explain to us what that is and what Eddie Dooley was doing?
Yeah, so, I think anybody who reads or, listens regularly, probably knows that I collect old, they're basically composite schedules, but they're these little giveaways that used to be available. They're just like the schedule, the little pocket card schedules we get today, but they were available at least from the 20s and probably a little bit earlier than that. And I'm talking 1920s, not 2020s. So it would have listed like all the games, for every team that's in the NCAA. It would have listed their schedule for the year. And then it would have just little things about, the teams they expected to be, great teams this year and who the All-Americans were last year, things like that. So just little things you carried around, and, they didn't have the internet then. So you wanted to see who was playing this coming Saturday, boom, you looked at the schedule. And so this particular one was put out by Royal Typewriters. So, if you went into a typewriter store, you could potentially, pick up one of these little booklets. And then their star was a guy named Eddie Dooley. So he had been a quarterback at Dartmouth in the 20s, and then became a newspaperman, and then became a radio announcer. So he had a syndicated radio show that basically ran on Thursday nights, where he would make predictions about that Saturday's game. And then on Saturday evening, and he was based out of New York. So Saturday evening, he's running through the scores, who won the big games, that kind of stuff. And I'm sure at the time, the West Coast fans got all PO'd because they may not have finished their game yet, so he couldn't report on them, and so they felt like they were getting shat upon.
East
But
Coast
anyways,
bias strikes again.
yeah, East Coast bias back in 1936. So anyways, so this is a 1936 season, and so one of the things they did, it's no different than what we do today to try to engage our followers, or to try to, and if you're selling something, you're trying to get people involved in the brand. And so what they did was, in the booklet, there was a little form that you could fill out at the end of the season that where you'd list the what you tried to do was Eddie was going to name an All-American team, and then you submitted your list of names for the All-American team, and there was a $75 third place prize, there was a $100 second place, and a $500 first place prize. So for whoever could come the closest to matching Eddie's All-Americans. So, it turned out that Eddie's All-American team kind of had an East Coast bias. So there were, 4 Ivy Leaguers, some of whom I'm sure made sense, including one who won the Heisman Trophy, Larry Kelly. But still there were five guys from New York and further to the Northeast that made the team.
So he wasn't quite as bad as what Walter Camp did, where almost everybody was from the Ivy League.
Yeah, Camp one year had all 11 Yale players,
right?
The first, second, or third All-American team. Hey, but they were good. Anyways, so he holds this contest, and then it turns out that this. My favorite is just that there were guys, and I forget, don't really care about them, who were first and second place, but third place was Mrs. Eva Lou Edwards of Hammond, Louisiana. So she picked up $75 for being for coming in third place.
That's probably like a week's pay back then too. $75. That's still a chump change. That's good money.
Yeah, that was some serious cash. And then each of the players who were named to Eddie's All-American team got a Royal typewriter too. So
nice.
That would be like, it's like getting a computer or whatever today. One of the other just fun little things about that was that the guy who came in third in the Heisman that year, Eddie did name him to the team. And I don't know how you pronounce his name, but Ray Buivid, something like that. It's Buivid. And he played for Marquette. So not a school that we associate with, football All-Americans.
Yeah, and he's in the Midwest. How did he make that team?
Yeah, well, he made it. But he did, he came in third in the Heisman, so he was nationally recognized. And Marquette played in the Cotton Bowl that year. So they were, considered a pretty top team. And so that was Marquette's first and only football bowl game that they played in. And then, they eventually dropped football in like 1960. But so, this Eddie Dooley was, he was like it, he would have been whatever, the Kirk Herbstreit or somebody like that of his age, nationally prominent guy. And then, he announced for a number of years, and then eventually he ended up getting into politics, and he served 3 terms in Congress. So I forget exactly, which state he served with, or for. But so anyways, even back then, former football players or coaches or whomever or media stars, got themselves elected to Congress. So some things never change.
Yeah, and you have a great image of Eddie. Must be in one of the promo ads on the footballarchaeology.com story on this. And folks, you can follow that in the show notes of this podcast. Go right to Tim's site to see this. And Eddie has a great face for television. He probably would have been great at television too, because he has that look. The hair's perfectly parted, and he sort of got the shit-eating grin on his face, and he's ready to go and talk some football. So. He's got me pumped up. So great story. Love it. I love the typewriters
so
away too.
Eddie would have played. I'm just thinking about that. Eddie would have played for Jess Hawley, because Hawley was the coach at Dartmouth at the time. And he was, they had really good teams. They were national champions, 26. And Hawley had coached Iowa before Dartmouth. So he was, like I said, he's kind of Herb Street only is probably a better quarterback in college, but that's kind of the nature of the person, the media star that he was.
Yeah, you could tell he's got a little bit of personality to him, I guess is what I was trying to say in the image of him too. So great stuff. You have these things, from your collection, and you sharing it and digging up the story and the research, and you do this, on a daily basis, which is amazing, and a real tribute to what you're doing, and for your tidbits. And people love to read this stuff and love to hear you when you come on the show. Get great responses from it. But maybe you could share with all the audience how they too can enjoy your tidbits on a daily basis.
Yeah. So easiest thing is just go to footballarchaeology.com, subscribe. There's a bunch of different ways you can subscribe on there. It's free. You can also do paid subscriptions, which is perfectly okay with me. But it's available to you. And if you don't want to get the email every day, which, just ensures you're going to get it, you can also just follow me on Twitter, where I reach like 3 people every day. Or that's
not true, folks. He has good following on Twitter.
Yeah, but only 3 of them see it every day. But anyways, that's another story. And then I'm also on the Substack app, because that's where I publish. And then Threads, or just bookmark the site and pop in whenever you're in the mood for old time football stuff.
Well, excellent job as always, and we really appreciate you sharing with us each week of some of your great stories, and we would love to share with you again next Tuesday.
Very good. Look forward to it.
Peeking up at the clock, the time's running down. We're going to go into victory formation, take a knee, and let this baby run out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next podcast. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. A special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com. Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, a.k.a. the Football History Dude, and I wanted to thank you for stopping by to listen to another episode here on the Sports History Network. Our podcasters are passionate about uncovering and sharing sports stories from yesteryear. And if you didn't know it already, we have over 30 shows across the network covering all sorts of sports history topics. In fact, here's a glimpse into one of our awesome podcasts here on the network.
Do you wish you knew more about the 100 seasons of the NFL? You're in luck, because you found the Football History Dude podcast, where each episode is a journey back in time to learn about the rich history of the NFL. From the founding of the league in an auto showroom, all the way to what it is today, America's favorite sport and a behemoth of an industry. My name is Arnie Chapman. Football is my passion, and I want you to come along with me each week to explore the yesteryear of the gridiron. So hop on board my DeLorean, and let's get this baby up to 88 miles per hour. How about that? I bet you're super hyped to go listen to that new podcast, right? Well, to learn about this show and all the other podcasts on the network, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com/podcasts. Again, that's sportshistorynetwork.com/podcasts. Head over there today to find your next favorite sports history podcast.